So another thing that's really useful to do sometimes, especially if you're going to be working on a project pretty continuously, is to set up a what I would call a jigsaw piece file. So it's where you have a bunch of references that you tend to be looking back at, and you basically come in and kind of prepare a bunch of pieces. Photoshop has this tool here, and maybe you've come across it before, but the object selection tool. So it automatically detects what's in the selection. It's super handy. So instead of me going around manually trying to cut out this piece here, I can just use that object selection tool and do a layer via copy. And now I have this piece kind of ready to go. You can see that around the outside, it's been like we have the selection isn't as tight as it could be. So I could come into a selection and if I come into modify and contract by like 1 pixel and do a if I come back into my lasso, do a layer via copy again, and I'll just turn off that layer underneath. You can just see that it's made a bit of a tighter selection. So that's one way of using the tool. You need to be on the layer as well. So say like we like this entrance here. I need to be on the layer, sorry, and I come in here. So I'll just grab that selection. I'll come back and press L, come back into my selection, layer via copy, and then I can start kind of preparing all these pieces that I could then start combining into my paint overs. I'll grab this one as well real quick. So yeah, really useful trick, guys, and it can be a nice way to kind of get your photo bashes off to a quick start. So I'm going to repeat this process for a few of these images, and I'll check back in. And so if I keep carrying out that trick, I can end up with a nice few pieces here that we can kind of use. It's almost taking them and they're kind of abstract by themselves, and we can use those shapes to combine into a new sketch. So if we just take a quick look at how that might look in practice, I'm just going to grab a sketch that I made previously. I will just drop this in here. So this is another sketch that I made previously when I was thinking about what I was going to do for this tutorial. So I'm just going to flip this up. I'm just really want to use this as a kind of a canvas to start with. I'm just kind of using this in an abstract way. So I'm just going to drag this then onto my other screen, and I can drag and drop these in. So if we wanted then to maybe use some of these, start dragging them in, and I'm just going to be really hacky with this and using the smudge brush and stuff to get all this in there. I wouldn't mind getting some water in here as well. So I've just dragged in some water as well. And you know, maybe we have this taking up this space here. And then I wouldn't mind some like overhang. Maybe we have like a bit of a, you know, this weird entrance thing is over this side. And maybe we have some like overhang cliffs above us. So I'll just drag in one of my other pieces. And then like we'd have to be kind of color correcting these. But like since they're a sketch, we don't have to get too caught up in that. But yeah, it's just a really nice handy trick as well. Another technique for coming up with ideas and generating your concepts. And then like we can always just use part of these as well. We don't have to use like the full thing. So if I just have like a little bit of an overhang here around the base, I'm just being really hacky with this. I'm going to duplicate these as well. And maybe we distort this into place. I think we'll have a little character then. And let's grab a big brush. Gonna paint on this layer. Some of those nice greens. You know, then maybe like we have our little character kind of here. And let's fix up this area back here. And yeah, as I mentioned, maybe like we're peeking out from behind a kind of cavern cliff area. And maybe there's like part of this is like kind of a waterfall coming down. I was kind of quite inspired by one of the ideas on my reference board. If we look at it, it's this one here. It's pretty cool. So like if we're looking out from this and we have all this kind of water pouring down, could be pretty interesting. I'll grab a light grey. Need that to be above. So I just need to make sure my layers are organized in a certain way now. Need to make sure these are all in the foreground. Okay, so back to my water. And I could even speed this up a little bit more as well by having some waterfall selections pulled out on my kind of jigsaw board. You can make that feel more like water as well. And we could also, with all that water falling, we'd have a lot more kind of atmosphere and stuff too. I'll just grab the lighter color for that. So yeah, really quickly we can kind of generate some more ideas, even using previous sketches. Try and think about those sketches in an abstract way, like try flip them upside down, rotate them, use part of it. It's yeah, it's a fun technique to experiment with. And a lot of this water would be all kind of in shadow as well, so try and reflect that. And we keep duplicating these, put this behind that layer. So yeah, then let's say we knock these down, knock this layer down as well, give it a little bit more blue. And yeah, really quickly we have a new concept or a new angle, new perspective that we could potentially play with. We have this really epic cave entrance then in the distance. And I could continue to work into that and bring in some more stones and things and some more cliff rock. Like maybe I could bring this piece in. Like maybe part of that is kind of in the area and we have like kind of foliage and stuff hanging down too. So yeah, really fun technique. Another one to try out and add to your toolkit. And then it would be a case of just continuing to push into this and get some cooler lighting. If I get on top of all these layers, or what we could do is if I just put all of these into a folder group, I'm going to make a new group. I'm going to do Control E to merge those, and I'm going to bring up the curves and the saturation. Okay, let's mask this back in now for like our hotspot. So I'm making a mask, Control I to invert that. And maybe we've got a nice hotspot around the entrance here. So the sun could be, I kind of have suggested the sun's coming from the right, but just I think it would work better if it was coming from the left. So I would have to flip these rocks around to make that work. But yeah, not the. I'd have to add shadow to those sides. So yeah, and then we could like grab some other little photo textures of, say there's like a little beachy spot here at the front, and that's kind of receiving light, and maybe we have some more kind of standing stones and things all kind of over here leading up to the entrance. And you can see it, maybe you could see some more of those symbols as well. And there could actually be some of those standing stones here in the foreground. So if I grab some of my kit bash pieces, like we could implement some of these into the foreground too, which could be nice. And I need to color correct that. Give it a little bit of a cooler shadow into color balance. And I've got a couple more of these. I could grab this one as well. So all this kind of hinting at what's going on in this environment, what kind of symbolism belongs to this place. So we're trying to sell that Neolithic vibe. So any of those little hints that we can get in there will all help to sell that idea. You know, maybe even like some of these rocks here, like underneath, it's not all moss, but underneath we can see some exposed rock, and again we have like some of those symbols kind of coming through underneath the moss. And then as well, to like implement these standing stones, I could grab some of this moss, make sure I'm on all layers here on my clone stamp tool, and start like painting in some of that moss on top of those. And then as well, I would add grab a color burn, gonna grab a blue and just darken up that foreground a little. So yeah, there you go. A quick way to get your kit bash pieces together and create some new concepts. Yeah, so see you in the next one.